And we're back with more Metroid High. I know I haven't updated this in a long time. Well, other things got in the way, and besides, I needed a break from this crap before my brain melted down. I know some of you consider me to be a paragon of badassness, but there is still so much shit my brain can handle before it decides to just break down entirely. So today we're going to be having something a little special in terms of narrative, because as you can see, the title is Samus Joins the Football Team. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, and I was thinking the first time I read this. Isn't Samus supposed to be pregnant? How can a pregnant woman possibly play football? Well, the answer is very simple. It's written prequel 1 at the end of the chapter name, so this is actually a prequel to the first 5 chapters, and so is chapter 7, as a matter of fact, though it's not labeled as prequel 2 for reasons unknown. And the weird thing about chapters 6 and 7 is that they're supposed to take place before the first 5 chapters. And yet chapter 8 is supposed to go at the very end, and yet it's written as though it should go straight after chapter 7. Well, at least part of it anyway. So, in a way, 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 is inventing brand new ways to suck at writing. Not content to just stick to the cliches, she actually goes topsy-turvy, nonsensical timeline on us. So, how about we take a gander at chapter 6? Let's get started. Hello everyone, a lot has happened since last time I wrote Metroid High School. Thank you for everyone has reviewed, even the Flamers this time. Maybe she's starting to realize, okay, maybe they got a point. Or maybe not, because she's still writing this, and somehow this seems written even worse than the recent chapters that I've read. This chapter is going too different, and it is what happens before Samus meets Ridley, like a prequel, lol. I was reading some high school fics, and I realized that not much has actually happened in high school, so I decided to have just that. I think I have a pretty good idea where she's going with this sentence, actually, which is sort of frightening, because getting into this chick's head is the last thing I want to do. But the idea is that what happened so far really doesn't have much to do with high school. Whether it's, for example, hooking up with a giant pterodactyl monster, getting an STD, becoming emo, then dumping your boyfriend in favor of another guy who's a far better fit, if you ask me. But, yeah, so I understand what she's saying, and it frightens me, to be perfectly honest with you. I might have another chapter like this. As I said, she will, but don't worry, you'll find out what happened with Samus and Ridley soon. Also, please sign up for help make Ridley Samus canon. I know people say companies don't care about petitions, but what about women's rights? No! 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 She actually started a petition to try and get Nintendo to make Samus and Ridley canon. Are you for real? I mean, I already don't hold people who are really behind fictional characters shipping. I don't have these people in very high esteem, but to start a petition to make one of the most nonsensical, canon-contradicting pairings to ever possibly be imagined, there's a petition to make that canon? the fuck? Really, really, this has gone past charming, if it was ever charming to begin with, and it's going into downright creepy, disturbing, demented, psychologically unstable territory right now. And that last bit too, what about women's rights? What does that mean? What kind of woman would be interested in pairing Samus with Ridley in official Metroid canon? Really? Women's rights. You know what right women have? It's the right to not be associated with you useless piece of shit that thinks she's cool by writing fan fictions that don't make a bit of sense. And, yeah, I wouldn't blame any woman reading this at all if she wanted to grow a penis after this, just because she doesn't want to be associated with you anymore. In fact, if you're a woman and you don't want to grow a penis after seeing this, then what's wrong with you? But I guess one thing that did happen after this fanfiction was that in official Metroid canon, Ridley did give Samus an unusual condition. Of course, it's PTSD and not STD, but you take what you can get, I suppose. Go to sign up, please, and make a difference. God. I don't know if I can take much more of this. This chapter is dedicated to Game Dude, who inspired me to write more. Fuck you, Game Dude. Fuck you, Game Dude. I hate you now, and I will hate you for the rest of my living days. And my boyfriend, Cervantes, who I'm in love. So, yeah, that Cervantes dude that she kept talking about, apparently they're in love. But the funny thing is that, as we're going to learn later, it's just an internet relationship. I don't know how that works, or how it's even possible that you can be in love with someone that you probably never met in real life, and it's just a silly internet fling. I have no idea. That chick is totally unhinged. But you knew that already. Okay, no talk. Read. Spelled wrong, of course. Chapter 6. Samus joins the football team. Prequel 1. Gring, ring, bing! What the shit? My reaction to realizing that I still had 3 more chapters of this shit left to read. Samus Aran woke from slumber and realized the clock was broken. Then what just rang? Whatever. It was late for school. Phazon! I'm late for tests. Phazon. Of course she meant Phazon, but using Phazon as a swear word, especially when I was about to say something like, was Phazon even discovered at that point in time, even though there was already Phazon on Talon 4 by that point, but I'm not going to get into another huge debate with myself over actual Metroid canon. Samus qualmed as she dressed from her clothes. As I said, writing quality going downhill fast, if that's even possible. And yes, it is, because I'm looking at it. Samus was not the kind of girl who obsesses over clothes and popular songs, so she did not worry about appearances, even though she still was pretty smoking hot. At least Ridley, lol. I would imagine she said at least Ridley thought so, lol. Late again is C, snip-quipped Mrs. Chozo. Samus is adopted. Her parents were killed from unknown reason, like in games. Okay, 4 things wrong with this sentence. First, saying like in the games, way to break whatever immersion you're trying to build into your fanfiction, even though it's very hard to get immersed into that thing as it is, to be fair. Number 2, her parents were killed from unknown reason, like in the games. The reason her parents were killed was not unknown. You're never gonna... I mean, does she even know why her parents are dead? Really, honestly? It's because Ridley did it! Maybe that's why she's so obsessed with pairing Samus with Ridley, because she does not know that Ridley is responsible for Samus's parents' death. Number 3, Mrs. Chozo. Really? You couldn't think of a better name for Samus's adoptive mother? I mean, what if I called your mother Mrs. Human? And finally, number 4, in Chapter 2, which takes place after this, we established that Samus's parents are somehow alive and well since they're on a business trip. Unless, of course, she was referring to Samus's adoptive parents, which honestly doesn't make sense for one reason and one reason only. It's 111 Samus Ridley Forever 2006 we're talking about. Fuck continuity! Fuck it hard! Fuck it in the ass! Fuck it with a chainsaw! Fuck it in every fashion imaginable, but just fuck it! No time for talks, ma'am. I must catch the bell. Samus, average teen? Average teen? We're getting closer to a Danube cameo here, guys. And left Mrs. Chozo and her dog Sparky. Does that dog ever get the fuck out of the way, by the way? Just asking. In dust and even forgot her lunch. What are we going to do with you, Sarcasm the Missus? She turned on midwife shows like Dr. Phil and Judge Alex, and I'm just going to interrupt myself here just to point out the fact that, as we're going to learn a bit later on, this fanfiction is supposed to have happened quite a long time ago. And I'm not going to spoil too much, but Dr. Phil, the TV show, wasn't around. Judge Alex wasn't around either. And all those previous references to stuff like My Chemical Romance and stuff like that, these things weren't around either. So, yeah, just something that I felt like pointing out. And we're going to get many more references to current stuff like that, or at least as current as it got in like 2008, which is when this particular chapter was written at the very least. But I'm not going to point it out each time. It's just something that I wanted you to keep in mind. Okay, she turned on midwife shows like Dr. Phil and Judge Alex, and Rhetorist with Sudoku, not Suicide the game. The suicide thing is called seppuku, not Sudoku. Though I guess I should commend her for even knowing that seppuku exists, even if she just gave it the wrong name. Okay, Journey songs in italics. Is that supposed to mean something? If so, enlighten me, because I have no freaking clue. One. Out of breath, whatever. How am I supposed to pronounce that typo? Samus stealthed into homeroom in time so her nun-teacher Mother Brain would not notice, and succeeded just like in Metroid Fusion. There's something wrong with that. Let me try again. Out of breath, Samus stealthed into homeroom in time so her nun-teacher Mother Brain would not notice, and succeeded just like in Metroid Fusion. Can't find it. Out of breath, Samus stealthed into homeroom in time so her nun-teacher Mother Brain would not know. Nun-teacher Mother Brain?! Okay, that's a fan art assignment if I ever saw one. Mother Brain as a nun-teacher. Wow. How do you make that kind of shit up? And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking this is proof that this is a troll fic, but when you're as unhinged and presumably prepubescent, or at least immature, as this girl seems to be, it's the kind of maturity level where you think that a nun-teacher Mother Brain is the coolest thing ever, so you shove it into your fanfiction, even though it doesn't make the slightest bit of sense. That and just the image is disturbing.